guys, my name is Paul Brun. Welcome to the Beer Corner, and we are at Otto's taking a look at the new X2. So why don't we take a look?
It's going to be sort of the new product that we're looking at, though we hope that BMW Canada is going to kick in something else really cool to look at also, but we'll wait and see about that. We do have this model. I have one just like this outside the front door. It's running, so if anybody wants to step outside, it'll be nice and warm, feel the heated steering wheel, the heated seats, but moreover, you can see the gauge cluster, which is unique for the X2, and getting pretty good feedback, a kind of combination of digital and analog in appearance, different than the other cars. So have a peek at that. Also the lighting program, which is nice. Now we've been doing that on X1 with less colors. People like it. With the X2, they're giving a much greater scale of colors. I think it's 8. Not as thorough as 5 and 7 series, but still pretty cool. And so you can, customize almost, well, I guess every other month you could switch it. As you look around the cars, what we're looking at right here, this is what's referred to as M Sport X package. If you have one of the pages, it'll sort of walk through some of the design language. So I encourage you to explore the cars, look for some of the elements that it's talking about. It kind of hits upon key differentiators. Some of it's pretty obvious, the badge on the pillar, the round L on the side pillars, which is a bit of a heritage touch. They're acknowledging that in the ad spots for the car. You see the heritage logo come up. The inverted kidney grills. So if you think about it, that's a little bit more upside down than we normally would see, usually wider at the top and tapering to the bottom. By flipping that over, it's the idea that it creates this sense of foundation and low stability, or high stability, but low center of gravity. And they kind of cut in a little bit low compared to the headlights that rake up. So there is this idea that although BMW is putting out all this new product and this sort of in between the different series products, there's going to be differentiators, so that the front end of an X2 isn't exactly the same as the front end of an X1, for instance, right? Though the cars are similar. It does feature the new hood design, where we're sort of seeing this flatness in the middle with a bit of a rise off to the sides, which is nice. The other thing would be, as we were talking about just a second ago, if you look at the side profile, all the windows and how they come together, it pushes right back beyond all the doors into the, I guess it would be the C-pillar at the back, which is kind of not something that's happened before on most of our vehicles. If you look at the X3 in comparison, it has the Hofmeister kink, it's much farther back, so they point that out as a little bit of a design difference on this one. It kind of elongates the car, kind of emphasizes that rearward tapering of all the lines. So it makes the X2 unique. We've seen interest, we've sold a few already. It's typically people that like the X1 but want a differentiator, because we are selling a lot of the X1s, and although you can do M Sport package and customize the car, it's hard to argue that this one isn't different enough to be its own thing. It sits lower. You'll see measurements in terms of difference in cargo space, seating position. It's a lot of fun to drive. So ideally we were going to be able to set up for some test drives tonight, given today's weather, and it is these big 20-inch wheels with the sport tires. we could do what we could do, and if anybody wants, we can set up a test drive for whenever. Hopefully, weather's on our side. I anticipated it to be better than snowy today, so sorry about that. So do please have a look through. I don't have anything really formal to say about the car. If there's questions, I'm happy to answer. This is great practice for me because I hope to sell a whole bunch of them. And so, yeah, questions, comments, love to hear it. There we go.
Question for you?
Yes.
Is this the only engine variant, the 2.8i, that we get in the X2?
That's correct, yeah.
So is there any plans for like a diesel or anything that you know of?
Well,
possibly?
So the question is worldwide. Yeah, there's other motorizations. In Canada, no, this is it. And the declared launch is that it's launching and there's one engine. And so we do see some of the product knowledge from other countries. We see some of the testing from Europe, for instance, where they said, you know, releasing with this engine, this engine, this engine. I think the other one was the diesel, but of course I don't pay too much attention to it because it's not really going to affect what we do here. So yes, you can get this with other engines in different places, but in Canada, it's called the 2.8i. It's the 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's the B48, I think it is. Thank you, sir. And it's X-Drive. You know, so if you go south of the border, supposedly you can get S-Drive. So we just don't have that.
Okay.
And apparently S-Drive that's at the front, right? So I've never driven a BMW like that.
And why don't we take a look at the interior of the X2? You've got your traditional iDrive video screen right here. And similar to the X1, you have the gear lever here. It's based on the Mini architecture. So this gearbox that you see is slightly different than what you would see in the X3 and many of the other BMW vehicles. It does have the same touchscreen capability, and I'd say this would be comparable to my wife's Infiniti QX30 in terms of size, form, and function. So here I am in the interior of an X2 that is running. So the cluster is a little different, as you can see, compared to some of the other models. As per normal, you have the the iDrive display, which I was highlighting earlier. What else? And it also has a feature that I like, which is the LED lighting package. So as you can tell, you can actually go into the menu here. Where is it? Go to vehicle settings. Let me get you a closer view of it. Oops. Go back here. Lighting, interior lighting. Go to color. And as you can see, it's blue. If I go to green, it's now green. And there are 8 color options in this X2. So this is one feature I would love in my car. So I just adjusted the front seat to where I would be sitting if I were the driver, and decided to take a look at the room in the back. It's actually not too bad. As you can see, there's a little bit of space here for my knees. It's definitely a tighter fit than the X3, and there's probably about an inch of headspace. But overall, it's not too bad in terms of backroom seat comfort. And let's take a look at the trunk. Interesting part. When opening the trunk, traditionally you would actually open it from below, but this one, you press the logo, and it opens. And then you close it. Actually, I like this feature. Let's try this again. That's so awesome.
That's nice. Nice touch.
And for size, actually, it is not that bad either for a car of this size. On the X2, there is a tag here if you want to fold down the seats. You just pull this, and away you go. And to put them back vertically, just gotta pull and push back. Thanks to Otto's for setting up these beautiful cars at the dealership. We have the yellow one, or the orange one right here. It's actually sort of between yellow and orange, and then the black one in the distance, and then we had a blue one out in the back as well. So thanks for joining me, and look forward to seeing you next time.